Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all well. I'm not. I feel like crap, to be honest. Feel like crap. But time of year, the stiff neck, stiff back, and I just feel like crap. It all rhymed as well. So, I was just perusing YouTube this morning and fucking chilling, watching YouTube. Past this video. Altnabreac cover up. Now, I feel Altnabreac's in Scotland somewhere. So, the video's called Scots Rail Drop Young Girl at Dark Remote Highland Station. What happens next is shocking. So, yeah, I just passed the video and I was intrigued really. What is shocking? What's happened to this girl dropped at a dark remote Highland Station? So, being from Cumbria, we haven't got many, but we have got like there's a few stations in Cumbria with similar crack. Do you know what I mean? I forgot the name of it now. There's one past Penrith to when you're going down south. It's quite like an isolated station you get off to go to Kendal and things in the other side of Cumbria. I can't remember the name of it now. But anyway, it's quite isolated, and I often when you go through it, you think like Christ, like there's nothing there. Do you know what I mean? It kind of is like the Highlands of Scotland in a way. You're very isolated. So yeah, you would just wonder what would happen if you ever got like kicked off at that station, and what would you do? Do you know what I mean? There's nothing about. So this is kind of a similar scene. It's just a random station. There's nothing there at the station. So apparently Scottsgale has been dropping young girls off at this remote island station. So it was all to do with like I wouldn't know necessarily say paedophilia, like looking at like Epstein and Savile and like these big paedophile rings. But this was sort of a torture dungeon in a sort of Highland mansion, and the guys somehow I wouldn't say got away with it, but well, we'll see what happens in the video. But it was just the guy was kind of linking the police in and the Scots Rail, and he told them and made them aware of what was happening and now it was being done, and it all just stank of a big cover up that even possibly maybe the police were involved with, and maybe somebody working on Scots Rail as well, like maybe a conductor on Scots Rail is in on the scam here, in on the torture thing, and possibly the police are, and again in the paedophile networks, it's been told the police and judges are in there. So I just thought it was quite, not well, interesting as well, but quite dark as well, and like this kind of shit goes on, and you don't know about it. You know what I mean? People think this stuff's far fetched, but this is what's going on. This is in Scotland, a remote station, and again, this guy seems to be trying to get the truth out there and let people know what's going on here. 2 days old, the video. And yeah, just thought we'd have a listen.
Hi, thanks for joining me and clicking on this video. This video is about this piece of land that is used. It's used as Altnabreac railway station, and it's operated with the ScotRail trains that stop here. Altnabreac is a remote train station, and when I say remote, I mean remote. There's nothing for miles. We don't get many passengers stop here. Mainly in the summer, we get some bikers, some walkers, hardly anyone in the winter. But we've had an ongoing problem here. Ever since we've lived here, my wife and I, we've lived here for almost 5 years now, and we've had an ongoing problem, which by the end of this video, I'm going to show you pretty much the same thing happens every time. If you're ever at Altnabreac train station, no doubt you'll find yourself leaving this gate. It's a pedestrian gate which leads down onto this track and leads into the forestry, into the woodland. There's no public roads at Altnabreac, just forest tracks that go for miles and miles and miles. If you don't know your way around Altnabreac, you could quite easily find yourself getting lost. These forest tracks are for authorised vehicles only. And if a vehicle did manage to get in, they would more than likely face one of these gates. And most of them are chained and padlocked. That's the track that I've just come out of. And if I walk down here, we can see, because the sun is so bright at the moment, just down on this corner there's a sign. Now, as I said, where we live here in Altnabreac, we live in Station House, is very remote. We do have one neighbour, and our neighbour lives at Loch Dew, that's how you pronounce that, which is about 1 mile up that track. Now, you may have seen our neighbour in the news quite a lot over the past 6 months. If you go back any further, you'll find him in the news back then as well.
So, I mean, I hadn't heard of this. That's the other side of it. He said it's been in the news a lot. But there's that much goes on, to be honest, that you can't keep up. But, yeah, I hadn't. This is first time hearing of this, to be honest. I hadn't heard of this in the news. I don't know if anybody else had. So, the crack is at Altnabreac, Loch Dew in Scotland. There's a very remote train station. The remote train station seems to drop young girls or girls off. Young girls, it says in the title. At that train station, which there's nothing there, and these girls end up wandering down this road, it would seem, to this house where there's a torture dungeon where these girls are tortured and raped, I think, is kind of the crack. We'll keep listening. We'll listen more, but that's sort of the gist that I was getting. Um, And yeah, this. But again, I hadn't heard anything about this. But again, just them's the opening claims. Them's the opening claims. So again, this is like, what's the thing? I mean, it's good of this guy to make this video. Do you know what I mean? Like, he lives. There's only him and this person lives in this area, and this person's torturing people. And the police aren't bothered, and Scots Rail aren't bothered, and he's, again, like, making a YouTube video to highlight this, because, again, with the police not being bothered, it seems maybe like they're involved, but a lot of times in these paedophile networks, but again, police and judges and stuff have been involved in things, and this is how it goes on and is kept covered up, do you know what I mean? So, we'll play on.
But let's just keep it what's happened in the past 6 months or so. So he's reported far and wide on the mainstream news. Every single news outlet you can think of, Sky News, BBC, all the UK British papers. He was in court, and evidence was watched of videos, hard evidence. Now, what was under Loch Dew was a torture chamber, and there was abuse of girls and even young girls going on in this chamber, which is all mentioned in the court report. Now, if we go back just a few weeks, something big has changed here now. Our neighbour is now on the SEX offenders register. Trying to get directions of where to go. It's pitch black. You'll see her dropped right here. The train drives off into the night, into the darkness. She's left in the complete darkness. She's using her mobile phone for light. You'll see her. She walks up here. And then she gets around here somewhere, and she's just stood here. She's just stood here for quite a while, One thing I will tell you as well, guys, what I remember, the CCTV footage, I forgot to put the clocks back. So the footage is showing 2200 hours. It should be 2100 hours. Okay, so it's almost 10 o'clock, not almost 11 o'clock. The date's right and everything. So the girl stands here for a while, and then you see her to proceed to walk down into the darkness. She walks along our driveway, and then you pretty much lose sight of her when she goes out through the pedestrian gate that I showed you earlier. And the same as usual, the same thing that always happens, that always has done since we've been in the 5 years. These young girls get picked up by a vehicle which comes from the direction of Lochdu, and then it heads back up there. It takes the young girl in the vehicle. So guys, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about this.
Could be young escorts or something. I don't know. We'll have a look now at the video of young the last looks or what she looks like. Could be escorts, prostitutes or something hired, and then when they get there, they do that to them. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. You know what I mean? But just how are they getting the girls to turn up and get in the car? You know what I mean? There's got to be some sort of arrangement been made for the girls to come here. They've got to get on the train and get off the train and get to the car. So what's being said to the girls? Is it possibly prostitutes or escorts? Pay money, girls turn up. Again, there was a big thing with Prince Andrew there. I watched one of his bodyguards who'd retired, and he spoke of young girls often coming to the palace, not underage, about 20-odd-year-old. Again, they were clearly escorts, London escorts. That's what they will be. 99.9% will that'll all be London escorts. So are these escorts prostitutes as well? Because again, you've got to get the girls to come here. So that is an option. It's not it's an absolute definite, but it is a very, very strong possibility. Maybe we'll get to see by here's the video of the girl. So this was on Bonfire Night apparently this year. So here we go.
Also, it'd be a great help if you like this video and subscribe to our channel to help us get this information out. Thanks very much, guys. All the best to you.
Right, here we go. I mean, making this video, honest to God, I have to go for like 5 adverts. The adverts on YouTube are insane at this point. So, right, here's the train pulling up. Again, this must be the guy's CCTV on his house. Very isolated train station in Scotland. Young girls getting off the train, being picked up again by a car, going to some sort of country mansion in a way by a lock, which got a torture dungeon in, and these women are being tortured. But again, if they've been paid like escorts or prostitutes, they might not say anything to anybody. I don't know. So let's have a look. It just looks like a backpacker more than anything. I was expecting like a skirt or something, but no, like backpack, pants. Looks like she's got a walking backpack as well. So yeah, the two women are trying to explain on the train to her where the fuck she's got to go because she's literally in the middle of nowhere. Um, yeah, can't tell how old she is or anything at all. Really, she's too many clothes on and too dark. So I don't know the age of the girl, but yeah, it's definitely happened though. As you can see, she's been dropped off on her own here. Trains away. So that's the thing that's pondering me. How are they getting these girls to turn up at this house? Do you know what I mean? Are they paying them money? Or what's gone on? What's the arrangement for the girls to even know to go there? That's the bit in the background. You know what I mean? That's the key as well, though. That's the key to understanding how this goes on. Because again, these girls just don't get on a train and end up here and end up at this house. There has to be some sort of arrangement somewhere beforehand. So where's that happening, and what is that? And if she isn't an escort, who is she? And like that's a reasonable explanation of being an escort because the money to get there. But if she's not an escort, then what's going on exactly to get these women up here? Where's it happening? Where are they being accosted? Where they're being offered whatever they're being offered to come up? You know what I mean? That's key to sort of stopping it. Really, stop it at the source. Stop these girls being recruited to go up there. So that's what makes me. It just makes me wonder what's been said. You know what I mean? She must have a phone number as well for this car to come and pick her up as well. That the lad mentioned. So that's the again. That's for me. That's a big part of it. How are them girls being recruited to come to this place? So nothing mentioned in this, obviously, but that's kind of the key to seeing what's going on as well. Like, where's this happening online, or is it again? Are these women escorts? But again, she doesn't dress. She's not dressed anything like an escort. But when she's coming up here, maybe they told her not to dress like that. I don't know. Just sort of ploughing my thoughts, as there's obviously no audio on this video, but there she is, just stood in the wilderness, looking on her phone. She must be ringing someone or texting someone, maybe saying I'm here. Bell's elbow will be up for a minute in the car for you. So yeah, she just stood at this station road. Imagine that'd be quite scary before you've even got to the house in the car. You just stood in the absolute wilderness in Scotland. It'd be absolutely pitch black, I'd imagine as well. At least there is some houses nearby. So yeah, that's the crack. Women being dropped off at this train station, being abused in a torture dungeon. Um, and yeah, well, that's kind of the crack. As I say, the thing for me is how are these girls getting to this place? How do they know to get on this train and get off this train here? That's a big thing. So there she goes. Now she's just going to go and walk and meet the car. But it looks like she could have been texting or ringing somebody there, even though her light's on her phone. But she could have been texting or ringing whoever's going to pick her up. So yeah, so Altnabreac cover ups the name of the channel. I've subscribed, so I'll keep an eye on it and see if we get any more info, what's going on. But it looks like a car's coming to pick her up. So that's the crack anyway. That young girls are being dropped off at this remote Highland station, taken to a house with a torture dungeon, and are being tortured and abused. And again, do they all come back? That's the other thing. Do they all even come back? We don't know. We don't know what's going on here. But apparently it was in the news, but I haven't heard anything about it, so I thought I'd give it a mention. And again, it's like Gando said, with the Epstein and Savile and all this paedophile, it needs stopped, do you know what I mean? And the abuse of people, like, what a sick world we live in. So I'll leave it there anyway, and we'll keep an eye, see if anything comes of it. Peace.